渐远，想过浮生多少年？谁家长短笛，金色丝线，惊起西风冷楼阙。谁蛾眉轻敛，袖舞流年？谁比肩天涯仗剑？谁今夕一别，几度流连？花期渐远，断了流年。不如就此相忘于尘世间。今夜无风无月，星河天悬。听罢笛声绕玉烟，看却花谢离恨天。再相见，方知浮生未歇。若挥袖作别，流云万千，可有人千万留恋？若今夕一别，一别永年。苍山覆雪，浮生尽现。今夕隔世百年，一眼忘却。弹指弹它，尽失了誓言。8000年咒怨轻言，成全了谁的契约？他不见，他手韶华相约。就此相忘于尘世间。今夜无风无月，星河天悬。听罢笛声绕玉烟，看却花谢离恨天。再相见，方知浮生未歇。若挥袖作别，流云万千，可有人千万留恋？若今夕一别，一别永年。苍山覆雪，浮生尽现。今夕隔世百年，一眼忘却。弹指弹它，尽失了誓言。8000年咒怨轻言，成全了谁的契约？他不见，他手韶华相约。就此相忘于尘世间。今夜无风无月，星河天悬。听罢笛声绕玉烟，看却花谢离恨天。再相见，方知浮生未歇。谁家的青笛渐相渐远？想过浮生多少年？谁家长短笛，金色丝线，独留西风冷楼阙。
Alright, hello everyone, welcome back. I'm your friend Insaso. Well, in the last video, I have talked about the GWT authentication technique. For this video, what I did is to make a user managed system. I mean, a system you could save a lot of users. You could make sure that each person has its own data or something like that. And it is quite normal, you know, in your real life. For example, you have a bank account or you have an account for your communication app, for example the Twitter or the, let's say, Telegram accounts, anything like that. So this is what I did. First, I made a register entry point where you could give me your email, your username, your password, and then I could create that user and save it on the database. And also when you log in, I will try to say if your email and password matches the record in our database. If so, we will give you the GWT string, and later whenever you request resource from the service, you have to provide that GWT string, and I will check if that string is valid or not. If so, I'll give you the right data you want, otherwise I will not give you anything. Well, the good part about this development is that I have used a lot of type to define the input and output of those functions, and even for the RESTful API, I have also defined those models. For example, if you go to the models.py file, you would say that first we got the general model, which is the data structure for our general functions, for example, the user, and then I have defined the type for the RESTful API, the input and its output. And by doing so, for those general function, we could immediately know if we made some mistakes or not. But for the RESTful API, it's kind of different. You have to run your software so that the program would know if you give it the wrong input or wrong output or not. This is a drawback of the Python, but or any dynamic programming language, they all have these issues. But it is fine compared to what we used to do in Python. So we have to thanks to the Fast API team, which does quite a lot of job on this. Well, also for this project, I have created a lot of test files, and this is the first time that I feel that writing tests is not as scary at all. For example, here, what I did is I created 3 different scripts for testing the database function and the user system function and the RESTful API. And they are all asynchronous function, which is very useful. For example, here I could just do an introduction for the database test that I wrote. But the first, I would love to delete all those users. Then I will do a check by giving it the wrong email and the wrong password. In this case, we should get nothing, so we assert that user is none, which is correct. Then I would love to add a new user. After that, we would get that user's ID. So that user's ID is not known, which is also okay. And then I will try to get that user by using the identification, which is the ID. And for this time, we shall get something, so that result should not be known. And also we can list all those users and try to update some information about the user. And in the end, we delete that user so that the database is clean after this test. Well, the only thing that I do not feel good about the Python or the JavaScript is that it's hardly know that what kind of model you want to import. So basically you have to write all those import commands by yourself. But in the Flutter or Java, the IDE will let you choose what kind of dependencies or package you wanted to import, and they will try to import those stuff automatically for you. So it will save a lot of time to try to find the correct path to import those packages. And here I'm using the configure.py file. This is normal in the real development of service program because we have to store a lot of sensitive information inside of this file and pass it to other scripts. And we could add this field name into the .gitignore file so that it will not upload this file into the GIT. And the best part about this whole project is that I have used a package manager called Poetry to handle those dependencies, so that for those new beginners, it's very easy to set the whole project up and running by just using a single command, which is a Poetry install and Poetry run D. And even better, you could run that test by running the Poetry run test, which is super convenient. And of course, for this project, it has a lot of ways that we can play around to actually make it better. For example, instead of save the password directly on our database, we probably just want to save a hash string so that even if our database got hacked, the user's information won't get stolen. Okay, this is today's video. I hope you enjoy it, and I will see you guys in the next video. Bye bye!